Thank you. Thank you. I think, first of all, I have to thank the subcommittee chair, Mr. Denham, for his leadership and his determination to move forward on trying to get some of these public assets in the win column for the taxpayers. Thank Ms. Norton for coming this morning and this incredibly valuable piece of property. Now, listen to this. This is over 2 acres in the heart of Georgetown. This is probably some of the most costly real estate on the East Coast, certainly in the District of Columbia and in the United States. And as you heard Mr. Denham say, for more than a decade, no one made a decision to move forward with disposing of this building. Now, maybe the inside isn't very pretty, and the outside, again, may have some value to it, the core structure. I understand this building is also above the normal height limitation, so it does have some real estate value. But for more than a decade, it sat idle. Now, if you're wondering if we came here to embarrass GSA and highlight this building, then you're right on target. Mr. Denham and I set out a few weeks after I became chairman of the full committee last February. We did our first hearing. Some of you were in that cold, frozen building, the annex to the old post office that sat vacant 2 blocks from the White House for 15 years. If you're wondering what we're going to do after this, then you haven't read our report. The report is the federal government must stop sitting on its assets. We wrote this, as Mr. Denham also pointed out, in October of 2010. That was the same month that Mr. Neely was sitting in his hot tub in Las Vegas, no one minding the store when the other folks had control. We set out a plan, and we intend to take this plan and ensure that the federal government and GSA stop sitting on valuable assets. Now, so far, Mr. Denham and I, we've done 2 hearings at the annex to the old post office. The last hearing we did in an empty building, some of you were there, was the Cotton annex. Today is our 3rd hearing. Now, this is our scorecard. Folks, we only have Mr. Denham left. There are 14,000 either vacant or partially vacant or underutilized properties under the purview of the federal government. So we have 13,997 to go, and I hope you'll be with us for all of those events. We'll go from one end of the country to the other end of the country. We're just started here in our nation's capital. But as you heard, the scene you see today with the building sitting here again for over a decade is repeated across the country. I happen to be a former businessman and in real estate. Any company that allowed this to happen would be bankrupt, would be defunct, except for the federal government, because a few blocks from here there is a very full building that's operating 24/7. That's where they're printing the funny money to keep this game and fiasco going. Now, let me tell you something. We came down the Whitehurst Freeway just a few minutes ago. Did you see the sign up on this building? I was told the sign was put up yesterday morning. Did you see the sign when you entered? So actually, before holding and announcing this meeting, there was no sign on the building even, and the property was not put on the market for sale, as you would do with probably one of the least expensive ways of putting it on the market. So we made some progress, Mr. Denham. We've got a ways to go. There are other properties around here we could highlight. Have a proposal to consolidate the Federal Trade Commission operations, which are now at least 3 locations, and they ask for 427,000 square feet. Heaven forbid they should consolidate some space, allow another agency to take private sector money and develop an old building. But we wouldn't want to do that, because that would save the taxpayers between $400 and $500 million. That's $500 million on one transaction. So here we sit in an empty building in the heart of our nation's capital. most expensive real estate that you can find anywhere in the United States and on the East Coast and in the nation's capital. Nothing was done for 10 years. So yes, we're here to highlight it. Yes, we're here to try to bring this to a halt. And we will do it one way or the other. Now, again, I'm disappointed that I haven't had the cooperation of the acting administrator. I can tell you how hard it is to get anything done when you have an administrator, let alone an acting administrator in an agency that's in turmoil, in which many of the leaders had to, and actually some of those who testified at our very first frozen a la carte hearing down the street, some of those people had to step down. But we're going to do it either with or without GSA. We'll do it now or we'll do it in the next Congress, but we are going to keep the federal government from sitting on valuable assets. I say that today, I'll say it tomorrow, and we'll say it until we get it done. With that, those are my comments. And again, I look forward to working with everyone, the chairman, ranking member, Mr. Hanna, everyone in a positive fashion to move this forward.